Good morning, everyone. This is Douglas Braye. I'm the BIM Service Manager here in the Mid-Atlantic for MicroCAD. We also have Ruby on the line.
Hello.
Great.
I'll be listening in and also voicing any questions that come through on the through the chat.
And today it'll be my pleasure to go over the Revit Productivity Tools webinar part 2. As you can see here on my screen, we have a PDF file, and it's also a handout for those who would like to download this, and it goes over, gives some additional information as you want to read more on the tools that we have for Revit. We also have AutoCAD and Civil 3D productivity tools. So without further ado, I want to kind of go ahead and get in here into Revit, and I'm using Revit 2020 productivity tools. As you can see right up here at the very top, we have our MicroCAD Revit tools, and really like these. So if you were here before when we did the first one, I covered some of the tools in the first half here, but I want to look back at the BIM Query. So let's engage this particular tool, and I'm going to go to category. So let's say I wanted to look at all rooms, and I hit OK. It brings up a nice schedule of all the information pertaining to rooms. I'm going to slide this bar over here, and we can see where we see the room name and number, even department, if you're using that for your model and for that particular project. There also is a nice filter in here. So let's say we want to filter begin with 1 and hit OK. So now we're just looking at all of the rooms, of course, associated to the first floor, or every room that begins with 1. What I also like to do here is with this tool, you can save this out as a spreadsheet in an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to hit save. I'm right over top of this room info. And then we're going to close this. Let's open up Excel. Let's go to that particular file and open that up. So now we have this same information in Excel. Of course, within Excel, you can do a whole lot of different things depending upon what you're working on from an Excel approach. But what I really like about this is, let's say if I want to come in here and do paint, I'm going to bring this all the way down to all of these fields, center that on up, and let's say for the floor finish, for example, I'll just do like carpet and do the same thing here. Of course, we wouldn't have carpet in like the men's and women's room or the mechanical room, but this is just an example. And I'm going to save, and we're going to minimize this. Let's go back into Revit, Productivity Tools, and BIM Query, and I can open up that Revit info file, and look, all that information that I inputted in Excel, as you can see here, is also being displayed here. But the other part that I really like is I can apply and close these new changes that we see here. So now if I go down and select these rooms, at least like 2 of them, you can see this information has been inputted in. So I think that workflow is very compelling, and a lot of you will be able to utilize that tool when it comes to exporting something out to Excel, making changes, and also bringing that information back into Revit. Let's look at some renumbering features that we have here. first what I'd like to do is let's do this renumber room. So as you can see here on the screen, let's say, for example, you wanted to renumber your rooms and you want to follow a certain nomenclature other than what we have here. These don't match anything, any kind of pattern. So if you wanted to do that, we can engage this tool. Let's say I want to start with 0. You can see the format gives you a nice little preview here. And then we can also force override, and it will swap out the mark. So we can do mark. I can select this room, and then now I'm starting with 100, 101, 102, maybe do the stairs over here as 3, and then stop here at the library 4. So for the architects that's on the line, you're able to renumber your rooms in a nice order there. So let's look at another feature here. So we can look at the renumber by room. And so what this tool will do is, the category, we're going to use door. And then we want to make sure we have this checked here, which is omit number letter if only one instance is in the room. Of course, in this particular example, as you can see here, like the break room, we only have one door in the room. So we want that to be 100. So we're going to hit OK. And as you can see here, it renumbered all of the door tags to match up to what the room number is. I really like that feature as well. Renumber Mark parameter. So if we look at that one, let's say in this particular room we have like these workbenches in here, and of course the mark number, of course we select here and we looked at the mark number is 1. We want to renumber these, we can use this tool, Renumber Mark parameter, and I wanted to maybe change it to a letter, and it's going to increase by 1. So we do mark. I can just go through and then select these particular workbenches, and now I have renumbered them versus off of a letter versus a number. Let's look at the Renumber Grid. So the way we're going to select these grids right here that we have in the view. Renumber Grid. So the way that tool is, you don't need to select those. So Renumber Grid is you do Renumber Grid, and you can select how you want it. So let's say we do want it to be like 1A and 2A. So we do mark, then you just go through and select it just like this to whatever kind of sequence you would want. So again, the structural people, however, how you utilize it, you can use it this way as well when you have your grids and your structural model. Okay. Renumber view on sheet. So renumber view on sheet, let's open up this A101 view. And as we see here in this particular sheet view, we have our detail number. Of course, it's 7, 4, and 6. And again, and not in a particular order that would be useful for like a contractor to read. So we can use this tool to renumber our views on the sheet. So we click here. Again, the same thing where we want to do 1 increment. And we do mark. Just click here, and click here, and click here. And it just renumbers those based off of what pattern you want it to go in. That's pretty cool there. Let's look at this one, which is legend, material legend. So in order for this tool to work, you need to be in a drafting view. So if we go over here to double click on material legend, before we go there, let's go to the floor demo. And I've shown you this tool before, but let's show you again. So we're going to select, let's say we select these 2 rooms, and then we go room to floor, and I want it to be wood, and I just hit OK, and add those materials in there. That floor finish, at, at a 1/4 of an inch, and offset it up a 1/4 of an inch. Let's go back to our drafting view for material legend. And the way this tool works is you select legend, and then you select the view in which you want to pull the information from. So I'm going to select level 1, floor plan demo. Of course, there's additional information that you can place in here. And as you can see here, we have the oak flooring in here. So we hit OK. And what it will do is it will generate a legend of the materials that you have within the that particular view that you have selected. The next one I want to show you is legend by category. And for this particular tool to work is you need to be in a legend view. So let's double click on that. And you must have some legend component placed in the view. So I just place this cabinet in here, but we're just gonna kind of pan that up and run the tool. So we do legend by category. And I'm gonna do doors. And of course I'm doing families and types. Let's bring over the width type parameter. Let's bring over the height type parameter, and let's bring over the thickness type parameter, and we're going to hit OK. And this tool generates a nice little schedule of your doors that you have placed in the model. Not every door that's loaded into the model. These doors are the doors that are placed in the model. And as we can see from a symbol standpoint, we are looking at the floor plan view of the doors, and we see all the other information pertaining to these doors over here to the right. Let's re-engage this tool again, legend by category. And you can go to view, and let's say you wanted to look at the front elevation view of our doors. We can hit OK. And now it would display a front elevation view of, again, the doors that were placed in the model. Let's go back to our floor plan view, and let's look at edit grid. So we can select these grids, come over here, edit grid, and in this particular case, we can like go back to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe this is going to be 6A, 7, maybe 8A. So it's a quick way. We hit apply and close, and now my grids are of that particular pattern or name that I really would like. So I really like that one, edit grid. It's similar to the other ones, but here I like the dialog box to come up. Multijoint. So the multi-join tool, let's select these just generic model that I have here. We're going to engage the edit join. So we're going to select both the generic model and then hit OK. And as you can see, it just joins those elements up. This will probably work for like floors, the floor geometries as you're making really complex floors in there. Let's go to a default 3D view. I'm going to turn off some of this stuff right here. Let's go to shaded. Kind of zoom on in here. Let's apply this change in here. All right, so this tool right here, which is the Resize Selection Box, the way this one works is you engage the tool, but you have to be in a 3D view. You can resize it manually, or you can do it by room, grid, or view. So let's say I wanted to look at the library on the first floor. So I can hit apply, and it automatically cuts to that particular room and see those content in there. Let's say I wanted to look at it from a first floor plan perspective. Now I'm just looking at just the first floor plan. Of course, at any time, if I wanted to, you know, increase or decrease the section box to see more or less, you can grab your control points and stretch that up to see more or less, whatever you choose to do there. I do find myself using this tool even now as I'm doing my work presently. Toggle control, say toggle category toggle. Let me open up, let me do a little bit cleanup here. Let me open up the second floor, third floor. Let's do WT, ZA. As you can see in these views, we have the furniture, so we do category toggle. So this, I can select furniture on both the first floor, second floor, third floor, and I say off. So I can hit apply, and it will turn off the furniture and all of those views that I had selected in there. I find that really, really nice. Another one is on-off. So a lot of architects use a lot of reference planes. So instead of me going to right-click, category hide, I can just click here and just do reference plane off, and it'll turn off all my reference planes. If I want to do off for doors, all the doors will disappear, you know, and of course on, I turn the reference planes back on or turn the doors back on. You know, I find that real handy. Zoom to, so you can zoom to a room. So let's say I wanted to zoom to this particular room right here, 104, and it zooms right to that room. Crop region. So the crop region, the way this one works is, let's say I want to, you can crop region from selection. So let's say I select all this right here. I'm not going to include the reference planes. Engage the tool, crop on selection. You can also put an offset, hit apply, and across it will crop based off of the selected elements within your view. If we go to the second floor, we can also do here, you can do match crop region. So I can select the first floor, hit OK, and it will crop this based off of what the selected view is selected. Sheets. Now duplicate sheets, that's really nice. So let's open up the first floor, A101, and we're going to do duplicate sheet. And what this will do is it would duplicate a new sheet as well as the floor plan views. So if I hit OK, you will notice here on to the right, you're going to see another floor plan demo copy, another section copy. Everywhere you see copy one is what it made a new sheet for, and it also made a new sheet, A106. I really, really like that. You may have people that, you know, move around your views here. So let's say you wanted to just lock all those down so that people not inadvertently moving them. You want things to look really nice for your view. Here we have a pin sheets. So we hit OK. So it pins all the views and all your sheets. So now you cannot inadvertently move a sheet. Okay. Let's go to this view here. Let's turn this off, for example. This tool here, room views. I'm going to select the men's restroom and hit OK. And what this is going to do is this is going to create a internal elevation view symbol. and also create the elevations off here on the side of all of the size within that room. So I do like that feature just by clicking and placing that in there. I really like that. Select. You can select by category. So let's say we do select by category. First we select something. So let's say I select this water closet. Select by category. And we can either do it by project or by view. Let's say I do it by view. And so now all of the categories, plumbing fixture categories were selected. We have filter. So we can filter and select, let's say we do all doors. And I can hit OK. So now all of my doors are selected, as you can see there. Another filter one is, let's see here. Let's do model list. Now, one thing I like about model list is that this particular dialog box will stay open or can stay open, and you can use other tools while this will stay open. So at any point you need to quickly, select, like say plumbing fixtures. You just select that. So say I can do HH. So now all of my plumbing fixtures have disappeared. I can say, hey, pick all doors, HH, on the keyboard, and it just disappears all those. So as you're working and you're selecting certain elements, so let's say if I do generic model, I can select any category down here, allow me to select those elements, and it will disappear off the list. So let's say I did doors. Not doors, but walls, and I did HH. As soon as I did HH, you can see it just removed from the list here.
Douglas, sorry, Ruby jumping in here. We did just have a small question which may have already been answered. Person's asking, can the model list selection tool select by other categories?
Yes. So if we go here to the model list, and as we can see here, group by, you can also select by work sets. You can select by levels, rooms, space, families. It's a really, really great tool. So let's say I can select all of the doors on the first floor, or whatever level, or undefined levels. So the answer is yes. I think what's compelling about this is you can do it by work sets. So for those who are using work sharing and you want to select something from a work set, so you've got electrical components and mechanical components, or something that you're sharing between all trades, you can select by that. So excellent question.
Thanks to the asker.
Did you have any other questions that came up, Ruby?
Yeah, maybe just whether our clients find these tools useful and maybe what specifically they help with.
Yeah. I'm glad that whoever asked that question did ask that question. When we've been showing these tools to a lot of our clients, and I've been having sit-down sessions with them and just showing them, some of the tools that we have available, and the tools that they really, really are, finding a lot of interest is this export tool, where you can export out families from a particular project out to a designated folder, as well as the import tool, where you can import in families from a particular designated location and bring it into a project, as well as the upgrade families. So the three that I mentioned, export, import, and upgrade families, are the tools that our clients are finding very helpful when it comes to family management, the model management, and also migrating, because the upgrade family tool will upgrade every, let's say, Revit 2019 family that you have on your server, and they bring it up to like the current version that you're using, Revit 2020. So all those families that you have in that folder, it'll just upgrade them all at once. And then you can save that folder out as, Revit 2020 family. So these three tools, from a management standpoint, they really, really like these tools, and then they see it as a time saver. So yeah, very good question.
That's great. And I also want to encourage anyone to type any additional questions just down in the question box. Should be to the right of your screen.
Yeah, let me look to see if any questions pop up. But yeah, I would say this is the time. So if you have questions, please feel free to type those in. I know we have like 18 people attending. I know it's probably different trades that are out there, architectural, mechanical, electrical, and then some who are multi-trades. Like I said, to be able to turn things on and off at a whim, and renumber things and have things, to be able to have a little more control over it, I find it very useful and very, very helpful. And I don't want to say I'm forcing, but I am using these tools a lot more and more, because I'm trying to remind myself that they're here and they're available. And so now they're starting to become part of my workflow. That would probably be a suggestion I would have for most of you. Once you, of course, would like to have them, get a hold of us, and then you can download them and install them to your machine.
We do have another question that popped up. I don't know if you see Douglas asking if we could review the view depth override feature.
Oh, cool. I'm glad that someone asked that question. That was on my list to show. So let's go to a elevation view. And the way the view depth one works, as you can see here in this view, I have the walls. Let me kind of zoom in. You can see that the wall, from a projection level standpoint, all of the line weight is all uniform. Everything is the same. Of course, you see kind of the trees in the background. So the way the view depth override works is you engage the tool and you tell how many divisions you want, of course, the color that you want it to be. And there's some additional settings down here. So I want the projection line weight to be engaged, and I set what line weights I would like. So I'm doing 10, 5, 3, then 1. So as soon as you hit OK, and what it would do is, as the view is projecting back, you have it at 10 and 5, and it's going down to your thin line weights based off of that override that you have set in there. So here for the view override depth, and anytime you want to reset it, you can just hit reset, and it puts everything back to where it was. So awesome.
Great question. And sorry, we do have one more. We're right on the cusp of 11:30. Do the productivity tools work for past versions of Revit?
And the answer is yes. They do have some download versions for Revit 19, Revit 18. I do not know if they have it for Revit 17, but I do know they do have available for 18 and 19. And we are keeping in hold of the developers. So as newer versions of Revit is available, we will stay close with them to make sure that they would have it up for 2021. So very good question. But yes, they do have it for 18 and 19. And I already have those installed too as well. So awesome. Well, we're right at 11:30. Thank you so much, Ruby, and thank you everyone for attending. I hope this was helpful for you, and we look forward to chatting with you all again.
Thank you. And if you do have any more questions that are maybe more industry specific, or something that you think of after the webinar, you can definitely fill out a contact us form on our website, microcad3d.com, and we'll pass that along to Douglas to get that answered for you. And also just take the opportunity to download the handout attached here if you do want kind of an overview of the Revit tools in that brochure. And thanks again to Douglas. That was a great presentation.
Thank you, Ruby.